Hello and welcome everybody. We are so excited to have you all here. We have so much to share with you and I'm really excited about it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I hope that you enjoyed hearing a little bit of some Firebird that was back from our concert in 2019 with Maestro Warsdale on the podium. And let's go ahead and get started with one of our fantastic MCs, Mr. Rogers. Welcome, Mr. Rogers.
Thank you so much for giving me the honor and the pleasure of helping to MC this fantastic event. So here we are. I hope it's sunny everywhere you guys are. It's a beautiful sunny day here right now. A little nippy out, but it's pretty sunny. So very bright, very exciting. And I'm very excited to be here. Welcome to the Rivers Young Peoples Orchestra 6 Feet of Separation Showcase. Today's event will feature YPO, Symphonette, YC Squared, the Percussion Ensemble, and the Wind Symphony. And if that isn't enough, there's also going to be a presentation of our TRYPO classes. My name is Jim Rogers. As you know, I'm the principal contrabassonist and utility bassoonist of your Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra. And it's been my honor, my pleasure, my greatest joy to be the woodwind coach of TRYPO for the last 6 years. One of the happiest days of my life was when Lindsay called me up and said, "We need a new woodwind coach." And I went, yes. And I've had a wonderful time. It's been incredible ever since. So I'm very happy to be here and just wanted to welcome you all on this beautiful day. We'd like to kick off today's showcase with a very special musical treat. This is the YPO playing Leroy Anderson's Sleigh Ride, directed by our music director, Brian Warsdale. And this fun recording was made in December using one of our new recording online software called Soundtrap. And this can give you a taste of what's possible with these awesome kids, even with no rehearsal and no editing. This was done right there on the spot, and it's a pretty impressive thing. And I'd love for you to hear it. Sleigh Ride by Leroy Anderson and the YPO Orchestra.
Hi, everyone. My name's Kathy Malucci, and I'm the principal cellist at the Pittsburgh Opera Orchestra. I've been involved with the TRYPO family for many, 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 many years. Besides being the parent of 3 TRYPO alum, I'm a YC2 coach, and I'm the cello coach at Symphonette. And also, I'm an alum of TRYPO. I joined TRYPO when I was 10 years old, and I can't tell you the effect that this organization had had on my life as a 10-year-old. I'd never played in an ensemble before, and I just want to tell you the experience of sitting in the orchestra for the first time. I can still remember what it was like when I was 10. So I just love seeing the students at TRYPO have the same experience that I did, even in a pandemic. It's such a wonderful honor to be a part of this event today, and I'm excited to join my colleague, Jim Rogers. And now, let's say hi to our wonderful executive director, the executive director of the Three Rivers Young Peoples Orchestra, Lindsay Noah.
Hi there. I'm so happy to be here with you with my mission control with 5 million screens, and it's been so fun to put these projects together, and it is my honor and privilege of my career to be able to provide these opportunities and work with this incredible crew to make this happen for the kids. How cool is it that we have almost 200 devices connected to celebrate the work that you guys did? And one of the things that I think has been so incredible as we've watched these videos come in is, in the middle of a pandemic with all of this insanity going on around the world, you all and your talented kids make music everywhere using everything. You're not going to believe the things that kids make music with today. It's with walls and with paper cups, and it is just really inspiring to see the love and the focus of music. And it's one of the things that I share with my colleagues around the country, that when I see how important this is for you, I have a lot of hope for the future, and you are that hope. And I hope that at the end of this, that is the word of the day, that you leave feeling full of energy, hope, and just that, as TRYPO kids hear me say all the time, the sun is right around the corner, and it's because of you. So this showcase is going to feature just a little bit of everything that we do, and we're going to take advantage of the fact that Zoom lets us do the fastest stage shifts on the planet. So we're able to intersperse a program in a way that we never could on a concert hall day. And not to mention your own kitchen's right around the corner, so you can get up and grab a snack whenever you want to. So not to mention our 2 incredible guests. You won't believe who we have visiting with us today. Mr. Rogers, I think, is going to tell us a little bit about our first guest.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lindsay. And thank you so much, Kathy, for being a part of this wonderful event. It gives me great pleasure and great honor to introduce our first very special guest. He's a beloved former colleague of mine, the former concertmaster of your Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra, and the current first concertmaster of the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra. Ladies and gentlemen, please give your best TRYPO welcome to Mr. Noah Bendix-Bogley. Take it away, Noah. It's great to see you. We can't hear you just yet, but I see your microphone is muted at the moment. Mission Control, can we do something about this?
Yes.
There
unmuted.
he is. Hi, Noah. Wonderful to have you. So glad you're here with us today. Thank you so much for
great
giving
to
us
see
some of
so
your
many
time.
familiar faces. Great to see you, Jim and Lindsay and Kathy. So it's really nice to say hi from Berlin. It's a crisp day here as well. It was snowed a bunch last night, and it's been a nice kind of wintry day here. So it's about 7:40, getting ready for dinner over here. But it's nice to pop in and say hi to everybody in Pittsburgh. I think I'm going to start off, play you a little bit of a little violin of kind of stuff I've been working on lately. Since it's the pandemic, so I've been playing a lot of solo violin, and I'm going to play you just a little bit of solo Bach, and then we'll have a little chat. This is my studio here in my apartment, so where I do most of my violin playing. Okay. So that was the last movement, the Gigue from the last Partita by Johann Sebastian Bach in E major. Um, and I always try to play a little bit of Bach every day, so this was what I decided to play today. I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you, Maestro. And let's give a TRYPO warm hand to Maestro Bendix Bogli for his performance. It's a silent clap we have to give out here.
Thank you.
We have two people coming on in. It's great to meet you via Zoom, but great to meet you. I know you had already been in Berlin by the time I had relocated here to Pittsburgh. Although I'm actually not in Pittsburgh at the second, but living now in Pittsburgh. I'm sorry that we didn't get to meet in person. What do you miss about being in Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh's, I mean, I loved my time there. It's a great town, and just the people there are just wonderful. I made so many wonderful friends in the PSO, but also in the community. So it's been a little too long since I've been back there. I haven't been in the States now for a year, and I think the last time I was in Pittsburgh was a year and a half ago. But I hope after the pandemic has gotten better and everything returns to some sort of normal that I'll be able to come back and play there and also visit friends. I do have some family there as well. I have a cousin who lives in Squirrel Hill. And so it's always really nice to be back in Pittsburgh. And I always follow the news of what's going on with the symphony and the sports teams, of course, and just generally what's going on in Pittsburgh because it's very close to my heart.
It's so funny to hear you say the sports teams because that's the first thing when I first came here during my audition weekend, which was only about 3 years ago, last week or so, and I went to my first Pittsburgh Symphony concert since I was in my early 20s when I was visiting some friends at Carnegie Mellon, and that was when Morris Janssens was still the conductor. Sweet, and growing up in New York and being and getting my life working in New York and being a student at Mazurs, I very different environment in the concert hall in Pittsburgh than it is in New York. You don't see people wearing Steelers colors on a Sunday, or I should say Jets or Giants colors on a Sunday in Avery Fisher Hall. But you'll go into Heinz Hall and you'll see even Manfred Honeck will have a terrible towel draped on the conductor's stand, and that was very cool because it said a lot to me about me growing up here in the United States. It said a lot about why people should enjoy everything that a city has to offer. If you had to talk about outside of the symphony, everyone here knows all of the bona fides that go on, in your life. If you had to, there was one thing about Pittsburgh outside of the work and the family that if there was a staple of Pittsburgh that you missed, like food or whatever, what would be something that you missed the most about Pittsburgh?
Oh, I mean, I always loved, I mean, I lived downtown and I just loved kind of going out for a walk or run on the rivers. That was sort of something I would do whenever I could walk down or run past the stadiums or around the point there. Just and having that view of the downtown was great. That was something I really enjoyed living downtown when I was there. was kind of getting outside and then being around that incredible center there. So that would be one thing I think, and I don't know. There's so many actually, but so that's one thing. And then I'd always love to be kind of hanging around in Squirrel Hill, going to the restaurants there, shops, and just hanging out with friends there. I had a few favorite places always to go eat
Awesome.
and hang out.
What about Berlin? Tell us a little bit about life in Berlin now. Now that you've had this amazing opportunity to be there, and life in before COVID, obviously in the Philharmonie. But tell us a little bit about life in Berlin.
Well, I mean, Berlin is the biggest city in Germany. It's the most kind of international and cosmopolitan, comparable to, London and Paris and such. And so there's a lot of mixture of cultures, and the city has so many different sort of identities. Different neighborhoods are completely different. But it's quite a modern kind of mixture of things. And in terms of the art and music scene, it's very exciting because there's so many people who are based here now. Um, it's quite central in Europe, and so there's a lot going on in that respect. Just of course we have a number of orchestras here and opera houses. I think there are four orchestras and three opera houses, all of them full time. So that's, I mean, it's a ton. And then that's not to mention all of the smaller ensembles and freelance work that's going on, and touring artists coming in. And so there's so much, you can't really keep track of it all. But it's exciting and to be here, in that respect. And yeah, I mean, my life is more oriented towards the Philharmonie, where the Berlin Philharmonic is playing. So I don't unfortunately get to experience all the other things, but we have so much going on there normally too. I mean, obviously my orchestra is playing a full season, but on every single night there's somebody playing as a guest orchestra in the big hall, and we have a chamber music hall too. And so there's a chamber music program there, or a recital, or so there's so much going on. And that's very exciting. I remember times, we would have we have a morning rehearsal, and then in between a long break and a late afternoon rehearsal. And sometimes I would come in a little bit early and I'd see some orchestra there, and suddenly it's like, oh, that's the Houston Symphony, or that's the Paris Orchestra. Yeah, I didn't even know they're coming, and I see somebody I know from there, randomly. It's just everybody kind of comes through. So
That's
that's nice.
wonderful. If there was something, we would love to spend lots of time with you. We have so much we're doing today, but if there was something you wanted to say to these young people, knowing what they're doing, not only with us as youth orchestra, but as students in their own schools, where music education is a vibrant force, and of course our educators here in Pittsburgh have had to completely revamp everything they're doing. If you had to give them, with all the things you've been doing, obviously in a lockdown and in an environment where it goes back and forth, if you had any like last words of advice or wisdom for these young people, what would it be?
Well, I mean, first of all, I would say bravo to you for keeping it up during these times, for keeping up your practicing, and that you're playing music, and connecting with other people. I know personally too, it's very challenging when we don't have that in-person connection in the same room with an audience. It's a very different thing, and it challenges us in different ways. And I know for myself, I try to find projects and things to work on that maybe normally I wouldn't have time to, or I wouldn't have the space to do so. So it's sort of, you try to using this circumstance to go a little bit more internally personal into what I'm trying to do, as a musician, as a violinist, and just with the situation, to explore that, in tandem with trying to connect with people through this medium, through Zoom, through the internet, to try to put my music out there, and connect with other people who are doing similar things in an interesting way. And I think that's sort of a combination, I think, is really important. Um, but in general, I think if you can use the situation and then find even more sort of, motivation and inspiration in the art form, in making music, in playing music, and sharing your love for music with others, I think everybody will come out of this even stronger. And I really applaud the TRYPO students and members who are doing that in these times. I know it's not easy for any of us, and the fact that you're going ahead with that and playing and keeping improving and working is really, really fantastic. So that's I think my main message would be, keep it up. It's great that you're doing it, and bravo, and keep it up. We will get through this, and we will be able to make music all together for audiences sometime in the hopefully not too distant future, and it will be that much more meaningful and enjoyable for all of us. I think we all I know I dream every day of what it's going to feel like going out on stage and playing in the full orchestra for a full concert hall full of people listening there, and what kind of energy and feeling is going to be there. And every time I think of that, I sort of get goosebumps, because we miss that so much. And I think we're going to be so much more appreciative of it when we have it back. And so everything we do now is sort of rearing up and getting ready for that amazing moment to happen again.
Well, thank you very much for that, and we are just so honored that you joined us. And on behalf of the staff and everybody here, I'd like us to do a little gratitude waterfall. Our students know what this is. To our parents watching, it's very simple. I'd like everyone to put in whatever kind of gratitude they wish to express, but I don't want you to press enter until I give you the countdown, and that will give us a wonderful gratitude waterfall for our guest, Maestro Noah Bendix-Bogley, for playing for us and being with us and just celebrating with us. So if everyone has put a message in their window, on the count of three, please press enter. 1, 2, and 3. It's kind of like a Facebook birthday,
Yeah. It's a bit overwhelming. It's amazing.
Well,
Wow.
thank you so
Thanks.
much, and thank you for joining us and being part of this. As we continue, we look forward to hearing from our other guest, Maestro Byron Stripling. So I'm now going to turn this back over to Kathy Molucci.
Thank you so much, Brian, and it's wonderful to see you again, Noah. So next up is a performance by Symphonette. Symphonette was the second ensemble to join TRYPO's offerings. It was added in 1985, and the organization then officially changed its name from the Three Rivers Training Orchestra to the Three Rivers Young Peoples Orchestra. Currently, there are 38 students in Symphonette, and the ages range from 9 to 16 years old. This performance was put together by their conductor and Pittsburgh Symphony violist Andrew Wickesburg, featuring a number of current Symphonette members telling you about their experience and some excerpts of this wonderful music.
Hello, I just wanted to say a few things about my time in TRYPO so far. Being that this year was a little bit different than normal years in TRYPO, I was not expecting to have this much fun on the online platform. And I just want to say thank you to all the people that set this up and that do it every week, and that I'm really enjoying it.
This semester in Symphonette changed my life. I have not been in an orchestra, not including my school orchestra, but joining Symphonette made me know what you can do in an orchestra. The rehearsals are great, helpful, and the staff at TRYPO is awesome. I am very happy I signed up for this orchestra specifically. The time from start to end is great. The sectionals are very helpful with our coaches. The words that describe Symphonette is great, awesome, wonderful, helpful, fun, enjoyable, and not a waste of time.
So this year in Symphonette, I liked every knowing ahead of time, knowing that every Saturday I have somewhere to be, and sometimes like a nice kind of routine in this weird time. I also like how it's more difficult music, and it's nice that I'm like working towards a final product with other people, even though like we can't like all be there in one place. And I like also just how it's like a nice community. So, yeah.
YC2 has given our TRYPO family and our musical partners the opportunity to explore chamber music and learn the critical thinking skills that chamber music asks of its musicians. It's one of the programs that gets our kids out into the community and puts music in every corner. I personally love to play chamber music. It's a passion in my life, and I love coaching it too. Let's see what YC2 has been up to this semester.
Our group is named the Apollo War.
And the Greek god of music is Apollo. We chose Apollo.
Because of COVID, we can't play together. So each of us recorded a recording and we put it into BandLab and put them together. So it sounded like we were playing together.
BandLab is awesome. Just because it's really fun and easy to use when you're trying to make a quartet or a recording and mix it all together.
Sophia and I played together today on Jamulus, and it was pretty cool because I've never really played with someone else, like even the violin. So
yeah, it's the first time I've played with another human being since probably around February. It's a great opportunity. Felt really good.
We met last year during the summer camp.
We get to play together. And you're not just playing alone, so you can have a good time with other people.
Well, I feel like it's more of an intimate experience than an orchestra because there's not a huge amount of people, so you can really get to know everyone?
I like that we get to play together and we get to know each other more. I like playing together with other people.
Wow, that was really fantastic. Thank you so much. To a big shout out to Laurie Cunningham for her unbelievable amount of work, patience, and skill in assembling all of this and putting this together. I don't know how often she gets recognized for this, but she really does a tremendous job. Thank you so much, Laurie, for all of your work doing this, and we appreciate you so much. And I've enjoyed coaching YC Squared as well. I have a surprise group that we're going to hear a little bit later, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But next up is percussionist Jackson Kowalczyk. Jackson is in his second year as a member of TRYPO, and he is going to introduce this semester's work by the Percussion Ensemble, directed by Ujjal Bhattacharya.
Hello, my name is Jackson Kowalczyk, and I'm a member of TRYPO's Percussion Ensemble. Percussion Ensemble is super fun because each week we come together to play a variety of chamber music for percussionists. I have a great time every week, and I'm super fortunate to play in this ensemble. Over the past few months, my friends and I have been working remotely to collaborate on John Cage's Living Room Music. Living Room Music was composed in 1940 and was dedicated to John Cage's wife. It consists of 4 different movements, each using different household items, such as desks, chairs, newspapers, or even door frames. I had a great time working over this for the past few months, and I really hope you enjoy our performance of Living Room Music.
upon
Oh
a...
no, you go
Oh,
first.
you go first.
Once upon a time, a time, a once upon a time, a once upon a time, a time, a time, a once upon a time, once upon a time, once upon a time, a once upon a time, a time, once upon a time, upon a time, upon a time, a time upon a time, upon a time upon a world, 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 world. Once upon a time, upon a time, a time upon a time, a time upon a time. The world was round, and you and it, and you could go on it. You could go, you could go, you could go on it, and you can go on it. You could go on it, and you and it. You can go and you can go on it, and you can go on it. You can go on it, and you and it. You can go on it, and you can go it. Around and around and around, around and around, around and around, around and around and around, around and around, around and around and around, around and around and around, around and around, around and around. Once upon a time, a time, a once upon a time, a time upon a time, once upon a time, a time upon a time, upon a time upon a world, 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 upon a time, 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 upon a Once upon a time, the world was round, and you and it, and you can go on it. You could go, 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 you could go. The world was round. You could go around and around and around, around and around and around and around, around and around, around and around.
Once upon a time, there was a fantastic percussion ensemble. Really great, you guys. I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much. Wonderful, wonderful job, guys. And thank you also, Maestro Bhattacharya. That was really tremendous guidance, and what an innovative, wow. Really loved all of it. Thank you so much. Really, really loved that. So now, next up, I would like to introduce Wind Symphony and YPO flautist and piccolo player Ben Novotny to introduce the next Wind Symphony video. We love having Ben in our organization, and it's been really a lot of fun, especially for me personally, to see him grow and evolve in his time with us. I remember my first time getting to coach him in the wind ensemble. It was wonderful, and to see him grow and evolve and everything. So looking forward to Ben's introduction and also to the Wind Symphony piece that's about to happen. Take it away, Ben.
Hello, my name is Ben Novotny, and I play flute and piccolo in Wind Symphony and YPO. 2020 has been a hard year in many areas, but TRYPO has adapted. Because of the amazing TRYPO staff, students still obtained valuable music education. Despite the absence of in-person events, Wind Symphony continued to provide an ensemble experience. The focus of virtual rehearsals shifted more to score analysis and critical listening, with emphasis on just intonation and strengthening the ear. This alteration in curriculum was beneficial not only on the individual level, but also for the ensemble as a whole, laying the foundation for a strong program in the spring, hopefully an in-person one. The piece I would like to present is Scherzo on Nettleton from Duane S. Milburn's American Hymn Song Suite. The third movement in Milburn's suite continues his resetting of church hymns, with this piece originally arranged by James Brooke Kuykendall. The mixed meter provides a playful rhythmic lilt that accentuates the colors of the ensemble. To record this work, Wind Symphony members created videos using a click track and submitted them for editing. I hope you enjoy Scherzo on Nettleton.
Bravo, Wind Symphony. That was just a wonderful performance. So when it became clear summer programs weren't going to happen last year, TRYPO jumped into action. They had to do something. And TRYPO created Camp Crescendo. We were so excited that a number of these classes worked so well virtually, we decided to bring them on to the school year. It's exciting to introduce to you our next speaker, especially for me, because I used to be her chamber music coach in YC2. Please welcome TRYPO alum and program assistant Sarah Hepfel to tell you about the TRYPO Sphere and TRYPO Talks.
TRYPO Sphere is an online learning platform that was launched in the fall of 2020. In this program, students can learn beyond what the large ensemble classes provide. such as music theory and composition. Each Tuesday, these students would meet to discuss different topics in music theory with their teacher, Shantanique Moore, who is a flutist and PSO fellow. Rob Tra, a professor at Duquesne University, taught students the fundamentals of composition. YPO conductor Brian Worsdale is the head of the apprentice conducting program. Each week, students spent time in score study and observed many different styles of conducting. TRYPO is offering more online classes this spring. The registration deadline is February 10th. We are offering music theory, composition, conducting, as well as a new class, overdubbing, with Jim Nova of the PSO. Again, the registration deadline is February 10th. TRYPO Talks is a new series that we launched this fall where speakers would come in to talk to the students about a range of topics. There were a variety of session topics like audition preparation, overdubbing, dealing with anxiety, and making music for your mood. Students within and outside of the TRYPO organization were invited to attend these events. TRYPO also hosted their first virtual college fair in January. In this event, we invited the Carnegie Mellon University School of Music, the Eastman School of Music, Duquesne's Mary Papert School of Music, the Manhattan School of Music, and Westminster College's School of Music to speak to our students about their various programs. Students also had the opportunity to ask the schools questions about what it's like to be a music major at their school. TRYPO Talks will be continuing through the spring semester, with our next one on February 3rd at 7 p.m. Michael Chapman of the Guardians of Sound Hip Hop Orchestra will be teaching students how to create their own beats as well as improvise over them. Again, that is February 3rd at 7 p.m. All TRYPO members are welcome, and there is no registration required. Just look out for the Zoom link a few days before the event.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much for that very informative presentation. And we invite anyone interested in any of these programs to please consider and please sign up. I think they'll be a lot of fun. So now I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Stephen Halpner. He is a member of the percussion ensemble and also of YPO. And he's going to tell you about the next piece that's coming up from YPO. Take it away, Stephen.
To me, TRYPO is not only a place where we make great music, but I meet great people and make lifelong connections. I keep thinking back to that first rehearsal where we played Gustav Holst's The Planets, and as soon as I heard us play, I knew that TRYPO was the place for me. This next piece you're going to hear is Tchaikovsky's March Slav.
Bravo, YPO. I really enjoyed that. We return now to Symphonette, led by Andrew Wickesburg. Even though he announced, sadly, a year ago that he would be leaving TRYPO, in the midst of this pandemic, Mr. Wickesburg agreed to stay on and help TRYPO and Symphonette navigate through the uncharted waters we faced meeting virtually. He continued to bring his special brand of humor, engagement, and artistry to the students, and they've enjoyed every rehearsal. Let's hear from the students now about what else they've been working on this semester.
Hi everyone, I had so much fun in Symphonette this semester. Even though at first it was hard to get used to Zoom, Mr. Wickesburg helped by using click tracks and still conducting the orchestra similar to how he would if we were in person. The click tracks and documents uploaded to the website were really helpful. What I liked most about this semester was the in-person reading session. In the end, the videos Mr. Wickesburg put together sounded great. Overall, I consider this semester extremely fun and successful for all of us. Thank you.
Okay, it was, I enjoyed seeing other people and playing along with them. It was really nice since we've all been isolated for months. I also really, well, not enjoyed per se, but I really liked listening to the bad jokes of Mr. Wickesburg and other students that sent them in. It was very nice to laugh in the morning. So it was fun. And then last thing number 3, I really enjoyed playing Star Wars because John Williams is an awesome composer, and so it was really nice to be able to play that. So my 3 things I enjoyed about Symphonette.
I really like Symphonette, and I feel that even though I didn't get that in-person experience and being able to really meet the other people in the orchestra and get a in-person lesson, I still got to grow on like the abilities of playing cello a lot. And some of the songs were really, really hard, but once you learn them, there's an amazing feeling of just being able to play through the song and listening to like your hard work pay off at the end, and with beautiful music.
Wonderful symphonette. I enjoyed all the different pieces. Now let's check back with the rest of our YC2 groups. It's exciting what they've been able to do with their recordings work this semester.
My name is Sophia Willis. I've been playing the viola for 2 years. I'm 11, and my favorite hobby is drawing.
I'm Madeline Stevenson. I've been playing cello for 3 years, and in my free time, I like to play games and color.
My name is Amelia Beer. I am 11 years old. I've been playing the violin for 7 years. My hobbies are drawing, and I like to play video games too.
Hi, my name is Adele Stamanov. I'm 11. I've been playing the violin for 2 or 3 years, and my favorite hobbies are drawing and music production.
Hi, my name is Hannah. I'm a sophomore at Kappa, and I've been playing the violin for 10 years.
Hi, my name is Anna. I've been playing viola for 8 years, I think, and I'm a junior at Obama Academy.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm a sophomore at Franklin Regional, and I've been playing the cello for 5 years now.
I am Henry. I'm a freshman at Alderdice, and I've been playing violin for 10 years.
Hi, I'm Vic. I'm a junior at Winchester Thurston, and I've been playing piano for 11 years.
Our coach is Kathleen Malucci, a cellist with the Pittsburgh Opera and Ballet Orchestra, and she's been great at giving us musical notes and helping us through the many technical difficulties.
Our coach is Mrs. Katie Wickersberg. She's really fun.
And she taught us a lot about little details on the music we're playing.
She personally helped me with third position a little more.
This year, YC2 has been different because we haven't been able to play together. So we've been able to work more individually instead of all together.
We're playing the Gounod Quartet in A minor.
Thank you.
Together as a group, we're called Simul Sorsum, which is Latin for together apart, showing how we can still make music together even though we have to do it from our own homes.
The piece that we are playing is composed by Tchaikovsky. He developed a distinctly Russian style, which spread Russian culture around the world through music.
The piece we will be playing today is Tchaikovsky String Quartet No. 1 in D major, Opus 11, third movement.
Tchaikovsky struggled with depression throughout his life and was also frequently influenced by Mozart.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. I felt like getting my bassoon out and playing along with the trio that I coach. We had a lot of fun doing that, a lot of fun putting that together. Thank you again, Laurie, so much for navigating all of the complexities required to present that to us. It was really tremendous. And I'm looking forward to another semester of more amazing music making. And speaking of online music making, music educators in Pittsburgh moved quickly to pivot to offering online teaching and keeping their students engaged. As the fall approached, they also had to tackle a myriad of complexities that existed in meeting the mandates of their school districts while also making sure their students were engaged and safe. All this while also maintaining their lives at home with their family, which was kind of a challenge for all of us. Len Lavelle was a terrific addition to our TRYPO family, but he saw the road ahead and knew that the Wind Symphony needed someone to lead that would be able to give them the same high quality experience that he would experience from his own program. To that end, he took a leave of absence and recommended his friend, colleague, and District 1 PMEA President Rob Traw to serve in his stead. We have been honored to have Mr. Traw with us in TRYPO this year. I'd like now to invite Maestro Brian Warsdale, our music director, to tell us a little bit about Wind Symphony and some of the wonderful collaborations and projects that we've been engaged in this so far.
Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you, everybody else. And thank you all for sticking with our program. We're doing so well. We have just a couple of more presentations for you. One of the things that we were very excited about doing through Zoom was connecting with other ensembles from around the country. What normally would take a number of buses, hotels, and lots of logistics by someone like Lindsay, including raising lots of money to get us into those destinations, we can do so with the click of a button and the touch of a screen. And in doing so, we partnered with the 3rd Street Music School Settlement in the East Village of New York City, the oldest music settlement house in the United States, and their New York City Symphonic Band. The YPO collaborated with the Oklahoma Youth Orchestra and their music director, Maestro Jeffrey Grogan. And then TRYPO will do its own special collaboration between all three of our ensembles and students in YC Squared, which we'll talk about later and look for a special announcement. However, we have a little bit of a sneak peek for you on our Wind Symphony's endeavor. This is Eric Whitaker, and we'd like to introduce Becca Tupper, who is a Wind Symphony and YPO member. Becca's a fantastic horn player, a dedicated student. Her parents are both proud and hardworking music educators. And she's going to talk a little bit about TRYPO and introduce this sneak preview, an audio recording of the Seal Lullaby by Eric Whitaker, performed by members of the Third Street Wind Symphony and our Wind Symphony. Becca.
Hi, my name is Becca, and I play French horn in Wind Symphony. The piece Seal Lullaby, written by Eric Whitaker, was written for choir, but was later adapted into a band arrangement. After being recommended to a major film studio by mentor Stephen Schwartz, Whitaker was given the opportunity to compose for an animated film based off of The White Seal by Rudyard Kipling. Whitaker instantly fell in love with the poem opening the book, titled The Seal Lullaby, and wrote the beautiful melody we know today. He quickly recorded the song, accompanying his wife on piano, and submitted it to the film studio. For weeks he didn't hear from them, until one day he got fed up and called them for a response. He was on the phone wondering why the song was rejected when they informed him that instead they decided to make a Kung Fu Panda movie. So Seal Lullaby was left in the dark until a few years later a group commissioned a choral arrangement of the song. This past semester, Wind Symphony was given the opportunity to rehearse and record this beautiful arrangement with the New York City Symphonic Band at 3rd Street, under the direction of Mr. Paul Korn. It was an amazing opportunity for all of us to work with other musicians. I am so grateful to our directors and staff at TRYPO for creating such amazing opportunities for us during these difficult times. I have had so many great experiences being able to work with amazing musicians that I wouldn't have had without all the effort that is being put in to provide us with the best possible music education we can get. So with that, here's Seal Lullaby.
I could totally hear that, Jim, in a Pixar movie. I could picture the scene in that Kipling story if it was done by Pixar. You know, I can understand why Kung Fu Panda is so popular, but I would have liked to have seen something like that. It has a very Toy Story kind of reflection back in time feel to it. So anyway, I just needed to chime in there. I know that's impromptu and not in the script, but every time I hear Seal Lullaby, it's one of my favorite pieces that Eric's written in the last few years. So.
Oh no, I thank you, Brian. I mean, any insights that you have into this is always welcome by us. You always have the most amazing, beautiful backstories and just so much wonderful history to share. I think for me, and I would hope for many of the students, that's been a big part of this experience with you, and everything that we've shared here is just being able to have these stories and these memories and these wonderful things that are brought to bear and everything. It's really, I remember the coaching session I had with this. We talked about beautiful, simple harmony and how it can move you in ways that fast music can't necessarily, and just trying to tap into that and let it move you in ways that are really special and really extraordinary, especially in these times. Definitely, it's okay to explore those things. So
he's quite the resourceful composer. When he was a college student, his undergrad, before he went off to Juilliard to study with Maestro Curigliano, his senior project was actually, he pulled an all-nighter. And those of us who, people have had that experience of pulling all-nighters, on a project or in school. This one is a band piece that some of our band kids might have played, called Godzilla Eats Las Vegas. It's a real piece. I'm telling you, that is the most cliche piece that he's ever written, but it is but I'm telling you, every band kid in this room there we go. One of the Hertzman family said, love that piece. So he's a resourceful cat, Eric Whitaker. So, but we're off to our next thing, Jim. So I'm going to turn that back over to you. We're so excited about this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brian. I just remember Godzilla Meets Bambi, the animated. Anyway, never mind. That's another story. But anyway, I just thank you so much, Brian, for that. Throughout the pandemic, we have seen some absolutely extraordinary efforts by many to keep music alive. And before we were all sent into our homes by the pandemic, the Pittsburgh Symphony made a major announcement that has been years in the making. The PSO has not had a principal pops conductor since the tragic and unexpected loss of Marvin Hamlisch back in 2012. The appointment of Byron Stripling has been a tremendous gain for the PSO and for the city of Pittsburgh. Byron is a jazz legend who played with the Count Basie Orchestra under the direction of both Frank Foster and Thad Jones. He's been featured with orchestras across the United States, and his appointment firmly connects the jazz world to the PSO and its mission. We are honored, pleasured, and absolutely blown away to have him join us for today's showcase. Please welcome Maestro Byron Stripling.
Great to meet you in person, Maestro. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Great to be here. It's a pleasure.
I know for today, this is for us our first time we get to meet you. And as you can see, we still have a number of our families with us, and this is just a sampling of the kind of work that we do. And I know that Shelley is watching as well from Chicago. I think she's at home in the Windy City. And one of the first things I did when I heard that you had been appointed, I texted Shelley immediately, and I said, I want him to come do a rehearsal with our orchestra. Last year, we were fortunate to have John Morris Russell come in and work on the Firebird with us. We learned a lot about his backstory, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you a little bit, because he talked about how when he got his start in conducting, he was Mr. Youth Orchestra. I think he said he was conducting like 5 youth orchestras in one season, and actually one of the reasons that he got drawn to that was Phyllis Barbash, who was the founder of TRYPO, of our organization. She and Bernie Goldberg, who played principal flute for many years, started this organization. And we know you spoke to our sister organization just a little while ago, PISO. So I know that you've talked a little bit to the PSO through the virtual experience and other things, but can you tell me a little bit, and our folks here, what drew you to picking up the baton besides the trumpet? Your trumpet skills are legend in the world, and I don't know if Shelley's told you, but my love of music is not firmly in the classical world. I am a huge musical theater as well as jazz fan. I was lucky enough to play in the All City Jazz Orchestra in New York City with Justin DeChocho, who was my jazz teacher. So what brought you to the idea of picking up the stick? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so much of it has to be that my musical upbringing was really diverse. I grew up in a family where my father was really a classical singer. And so around the house, we heard people like Beverly Sills and Marilyn Horne and so many others. I was going to concerts and seeing people like Leontine Price and Pavarotti and so many others. We lived in Minnesota for a while. I saw the Minnesota Orchestra often. Lived in St. Louis. I saw the St. Louis Symphony often. Music was a part of our lives. When my father got home, he would always put on jazz. And so I was hearing Miles Davis and Dizzy Gillespie and Clark Terry and Duke Ellington and Count Basie. And then when he got really relaxed, he'd put on the Temptations and the Four Tops and the OJs and all these great soul and Motown style groups. So my listening brought all this music to me. And then I started working in different organizations, playing and performing. And I realized that, like, sometimes somebody would be up there and I was like, I don't like that tempo so much. And I would say it to somebody and they say, so, I said, well, I think he should slow down there and retard there. And then they say, you're not conducting. I say, look, if you got so much to say, you need to be a conductor. Now, they weren't saying I would be a good conductor. That was their way of telling me I need to be quiet, right? So if you always got something to say, sometimes you need to just get up there and do it yourself, but you have to be qualified to do that. And so one of the things we like to stress to people, and something that I continue to this day, is knowing that we have to have our credentials to stand on stage. And so we do that by constantly shaping and molding and sculpting our craft, where we know that this isn't really like a destination, but a journey in becoming a musician. And it's a never ending journey. So I try to always hone my skills and make them better. So that's sort of what led me to, sort of pick up the baton. It was a way for a lot of people to keep me quiet.
It's true. My conducting, I still have a conducting teacher. I feel like you said, it's a journey. So I always am trying to better myself. And so like where does a barber go for a haircut kind of thing? I always make sure. And one of the things he always says in front of, like, he does a lot of all states and stuff like that. His name is Tony Maiello, and he'll shake the baton in somebody's ear and say, can you hear that? Yeah, it doesn't make a sound. It doesn't make the noise. It helps organize the sound that comes out. So I love hearing that kind of analogy, because I think that's such an important thing. You bring up a great point that I think these young people should hear more about, because first, and I know we don't have a ton of time to talk about this, but I have to, because it's such an important part of your background. You played for the Count Basie Orchestra, and you played for two of probably the most important people, not necessarily just with the Count Basie Orchestra, but two of the most important people in the jazz world. I mean, for those of us who are not conversant in the jazz world, Thad Jones, along with Mel Lewis, they were like important figures in the I don't want to say the underground jazz movement, but we like to say that because of the Village Vanguard and the idea that basement jazz, the idea of just going into a club and just reading a bunch of charts. And one of the things that I thoroughly enjoyed about my time, I grew up in Brooklyn, Maestro. So, and when I was in the All City Jazz Band, I wound up, I think I told you this in an email, I wound up playing in the Grammy Band, the Tri-State Grammy Band with JD. And we played at the Vanguard, and we opened for the Vanguard Band. And I was 17 years old. And so they basically, those guys were so cool. They showed us their folders. And eventually I got to, when I was playing bass trombone, I actually got to sit the bass trombone book for Doug Purviance. And that book, when you look at those charts, they are like weather worn. They are the old original charts. So those of you who don't understand, Thad Jones is like one of the most important figures in the jazz world. And of course, any high school student here knows Frank Foster, because either Sammy Nestigo or Frank Foster, those are the Count Basie charts you guys play at school. What was that like? What was that like playing in that band? And tell us some of the highlights of that part of your career.
Well, so that was early 80s for me. I was probably 23 or 24 years old when I got on the band. I had seen them, the Count Basie band, probably 20, 30 times before I got to play with them. And they actually knew me. I would write letters to the guys in the band because there was a place you could go. And when I lived in Minnesota, they would come twice a year, the Prom Ballroom. It was $5 to get in. I would get a Coca-Cola and nurse that and stand right in front of the band and let that music surround me. I suggest that for your students to also see as much live music as you can, particularly orchestra, and stand as close and get as close to them as you can and let that music reverberate through your heart. Imbue yourself with it. Let it get into your bones. And this will really it will lift you up too. So that's what that music did for me. When they started looking for people to replace their first trumpet player, I got a call. They knew who I was. I had been before that playing with the great Woody Herman. Before that, I had played with the great Lionel Hampton, great vibraphone player. And then I went on to play with the Basie band. Everybody on that band was probably in their 70s when I was there. It was all people that I'd seen on records all my life. And I got to sit next to them and found their unique style and way of playing. The Count Basie band really exemplified the fact that in jazz, music is inadequate for what it expresses. In other words, printed music does not express what you end up playing in no shape or form. It's just there. You have to know the style. And they had a really distinct style. It's really an oral language and you learn it that way. They taught me that. And then I went on to play with people like Dizzy Gillespie, his big band. I did many tours with them. And Clark Terry's big band, Buck Clayton from the original Basie band, I played in his band, and on and on and on. And as you mentioned, Broadway, lots of that kind of stuff for me. So that was the beginning of playing in those kind of organizations for me.
I think this is so great. I think that's one of the reasons I say that. We have a bunch of students who really enjoy many genres of music and playing, and that includes the idea of well, I want to study jazz, but in the conversation we're having, you continue to talk about classical music being a constant in your life, and the fact that you do all these other things and have had this shaping of your life in doing so. It's great for these young people to hear that perspective, and I just want to. And those of you who are, really listening today, hear what is being said to you about this. The next question that I would like to throw out there is, what do you look for when you're listening to students? Like, if, let's say, you're in a position, I know that you travel everywhere, and I'm sure there are times where you get the invitation to go visit a rehearsal, whether it's a big band like a youth band, jazz band, or an orchestra or concert band. I'm sure you've done your fair share of those kind of clinics at the beginning of your career, in the middle of your career. What is it that you're looking for and listening for in those experiences when you hear students play? What are you looking for?
Actually, when it's beginning students, high school students, I'm actually just looking for dedication and the fact that you've tried to learn it. So I'll give you a quick story. I played in a place in Texas. I wish I could recall the name. It was very close to Mexico border. And all of the students there were basically first generation immigrants. And I was told by the band leader there at the college that these were fantastic musicians. And for me, it's always like, I got to see it to believe it. And I walked into rehearsal. The drummer was setting up her drum set, and then she said, "I'm ready to go," but her music stand wasn't there. And I said, "Well, told the director, let's wait till she gets her music stand up." And she looked at me. She says, "I'm good." I'm like, "All right, girl, young lady." I was like, "What we got here?" And I counted off the first tune, and she played the crap out of it. She had it memorized. This is the kind of dedication that the whole band had. And again, these are first generation immigrants who their parents had not had the opportunity to go to college. And for them, this was a big deal to sit. And so sit in a band and perform like this and have a professor and that kind of thing. So they didn't take it for granted. And I never want any of us to take for granted the gift that we have to give as musicians. And it takes dedication, it takes work. There's a philosophy that, you're always striving to get better. I saw that in this young lady, and I saw it in the whole band. I then went and gave a master class, and I got nervous because everybody had a pencil and paper ready, and everything I said, they would write down. Like, I started getting nervous, about what I was saying, because they were so attentive. But what we know, even with listening is a powerful skill, and we have to do it with music, obviously. And as musicians, we listen to music differently. We listen for rhythm, melody, and harmony. Listening to a person speak as they're teaching you is also important too. We love it when people don't have their phones in us and we talk to them. How distracting is this for people to be in orchestra rehearsal, and I've seen that, but not in this band in Texas, and have their phones on their stand looking at their phones. Meditation person would say, be here now. And there's that focus that we need to have as musicians. And that's what I look for. I look for focus. I look for dedication. I look for a work ethic. In Goethe's Faust, it says, those who strive with all their might, we are allowed to save. That's what happens with practicing. You'll be saved on that stage when you have your credentials and you have practice and you have become an attentive listener, which means that you give of yourself as you listen. And that's not only a skill for music, but it's a life skill. As you talk to people and you listen to them and you give of yourself, there's a book that's called First Seek to Understand and Then Seek to Be Understood. And so I always try to do that. And when you meet me in person, hopefully I will be a lot more quieter than I am right now.
Oh, no, this is fantastic. And we're enjoying this. Our executive director, Miss Nova, as you can see, well, at least I think you can see in the upper left. Actually, her husband, Jim, will be playing for you or has played for you in the orchestra. He's one of the trombonists in the section. And so this is a question that he's going to enjoy. I don't know if he's watching right now, because we have two left for you. This question is, because you are not only a conductor, a trumpet player, how often I think the students need to know, how often do you practice?
Let me see. I'm practicing right now.
So I had a feeling that was the case. This is the conversation that we've been having with the students, especially through Zoom. I think the reason I ask you that question is because I think that we have students, especially we've had this year because of COVID. We have a lot of students who are feeling a little they're feeling a little down about this. They're feeling like maybe the practicing isn't worth it, and the frustration of not being able to play together. And so for our last question for you that I have is it's really not so much a question as a request. Do you have any kind of words of wisdom, encouragement, anything that you could say to them that because that answer is important, you're practicing every day, but how to get them out of this funk that they might be in?
Yeah, let me just give you a framework for where we are. The great Ken Burns, the great filmmaker, said this is a really incredible time in history. It's one of the three biggest things that have happened in American history. The first was the Civil War, the second was the Great Depression, and then the third was World War II. We are now in the fourth. So I want people to be mindful of what you're up against. It's a tremendous, horrible, terrible thing. Yet, is there a place? And there's an old saying that says, if God wants to give you a present or a gift, he wraps it in a problem. And so we have to figure out how to solve this problem. So what is the gift of COVID? And what could you do now? And what can you do now that under ordinary circumstances that you couldn't do? And that is practice for us as musicians. But what's the motivation for practice? Well, there's a thing that I've always thought was that I'm most inspired when I have a gig. And you guys don't have a lot of gigs now. You have to create your own. So I would like to suggest to the students, put yourself on a program of practice, and that involves so many things. And sometime I'll get a chance to tell you how to do that. But your practice program should be written, and it should encompass all the important things for you to become a great musician and a great player. You got to find the gig. What you can do now is create a goal for yourself and put a beautiful thing of you playing up on YouTube. And if everybody in the orchestra would do that, but do not post it. I'll say that again. Do not post it until it's absolutely flawless. One way you can do that is to record it way before. You should record it just on your phone many times before you post it on YouTube. And when you hear it, a tape recorder to a musician is like a mirror to a dancer. It's the true reflection of who you are and what you sound like. So you need to hear that and record yourself about 10 times before you post that thing on YouTube. But have it be something beautiful, have it be something that you love, and focus on things that lift you up musically. Right? It's so important to have a gig and something to look forward to. So just in short, I would say that's one of the quickest ways to motivate yourself. And after you do one, then immediately start on something that's even more difficult and continue to challenge yourself. And Longfellow said, the heights of great men reached and kept were not achieved by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, we're toiling upward in the night. We have to toil upward in the night to reach that pinnacle of great musicianship. And again, it never stops. And so what we're on now is a marathon. And the marathon runner says, I don't stop when I'm tired. I stop when I'm done. So we are tired now, and we are weary, and we are worn. Every time I get set to do a concert, it gets canceled. And then they reschedule it. Now, I've done a whole bunch of them, but they keep rescheduling it. I am tired and I am worn, but I will persist and I will be resilient no matter what is in my way. The music is too important to me. And the fact that we get it out to people will make their lives better. See, what we sell to people is not tangible. You can't hold it in your hand. We give them feelings, and more than ever, they need those feelings now. So I can't wait to get on the stage and give that to people.
We can't wait to have you come out and spend some more time with our students. Shelly, if you're listening, you were not joking, and this is awesome. I'm sorry that our first meeting is this way, as opposed to me sitting in Heinz Hall watching you work, which I always love to do since our office is right there. But my gosh, you've kind of, no, not kind of, you've inspired me as we're doing this winter showcase, because we are hoping that by the end of February, we're going to be in person, and we're putting this together, and we're crossing our fingers and hoping for the best. And this is a great motivation to get us to that point. I want to thank you for joining us today. I want to thank everybody. I'd like us to do another gratitude waterfall, please, everybody. Can you all please put in a quick little moment, thought or moment, anything you'd like to do. And when I tell you to at the count of 3, please press enter. Here we go. Get ready. I'm going to give you a second to do it. All right. And then 3, 2, 1, please press enter. Maestro, thank you for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maestro Stripling. Thank you, Brian. That was just a really once-in-a-lifetime experience. And thank you so much for everything you shared with all of us. As we approach the end of our 6 Feet of Separation Winter Showcase, I'd like to introduce you to our last speaker, Daphne Creamer, a member of the bassoon section of the Wind Symphony. She's actually a charter member. And Daphne is on a gap year between high school and college right now, and she decided to rejoin the Wind Symphony and YPO. She's actually a private student of my co-host Jim Rogers, and she's been studying conducting with Mr. Wordsdale through the Triposphere conducting class. Take it away, Daphne.
Hi, my name is Daphne, and I'm a bassoonist in TRYPO's Wind Symphony and Orchestra. And I'm very thankful for TRYPO, especially this year, because it's been somewhat of a lifeline for me, because I'm actually a college student and I'm on leave this year. So TRYPO has brought a social aspect back to my music making, as opposed to just playing solo repertoire in my basement alone, which is really nice. And it's also helped me to keep up my learning while not in school, through the newly launched Triposphere, where I'm taking apprentice conducting with Mr. Worsdale. And that's something I've always wanted to try out, or try my hand at conducting. And also there are all these opportunities in this virtual format for interacting with professionals that aren't necessarily in state, but some that are, such as the coaches that we had before, that are, PSO musicians, such as Jim, Mr. Jim Rogers, who's also one of the hosts here tonight, who actually has taken me on as a private student, which has been great, as he's helped me prepare for auditions, since I'm going to be transferring to a music school next fall. And also it's been great to have collaborations with groups from out of state, like the Oklahoma Youth Orchestra and the 3rd Street Symphonic Band from New York City. And then also we've had so many guest speakers, other music professionals like composers and just people involved in music, such as Kalijah Dunton, who is the composer of her piece Still Water, And it was great to talk to him because, he's a young living composer and we can talk about his music directly to him, which is great and not an opportunity we usually get. And it was great to hear about his story, how he got into music and composing. It was very inspiring. So let's take a listen to it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the program.
Kalijah Dutton Stillwater, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank Ivan Plachik, who is doing work like this at Carnegie Mellon University, but we were able to contact him thanks to his work at Shadyside Presbyterian. He sings in the choir there and with Camerado. Met him through our good friend Timothy Stoddard, who is watching today. And Yvonne was so excited about doing this that he was just really looking forward to this project. So he did a fantastic job on that video. So just a round of applause to him. And yeah, and thank you, Tim, for setting us up with him. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Brian. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank our colleagues, the coaches who've worked so hard with our students, keeping the music alive for them and for us as we continue to look for every ray of sunshine during these times. A thank you also goes out to the amazing, amazing administration of TRYPO. They keep the wheels turning and they are so attentive to our students. Lindsay, Anna, Laurie, Rachel, Zoe, Sarah, and Akari, thank you so, so much.
And I wanted to give a special thanks to all of our fantastic, fantastic ensemble directors, to Ujjal, to Rob, and to Andrew Wickesberg, as well as to our fantastic fearless leader, music director, Mr. Brian Warsdale. I would also like to thank the board of directors of TRYPO. Their support has been unwavering during this crisis, and their enthusiasm for each of our projects has helped all of us. So thank you very, very much.
I have a few thank yous as well, but first we had a big meeting last Wednesday, town hall, that was laying out our plans for the spring and how we think that we can make music safely together again. That is all now available for you online, and thank you to Ms. Howard, who just barely posted the link for that. If you missed the meeting, if you need the slides and the links to the survey, they are all there. We need input from every single family in order to make sure that this works for us. So please make sure you check that out. We will email it again later today as well. And I want to also thank all of our student announcers. So great to have so many students participating today. And thank you for our MCs, Mr. Rogers and Ms. Malucci. Thank you so much. It was so great to have them here introducing each of our segments. And we really also have another really huge thank you, and that is all of you, because we couldn't do what we do without our families, without our parents, without our private teachers, without those that keep all of us going. And not to mention the great attitudes and parents who have been locked up and kids who have been locked up in their houses for months. So not to mention all of those who've supported us financially. So if we could please give yourselves a huge round of applause, because you are the reason that this works. You are the reason that we can keep all of the music alive. And if you would take a moment to unmute yourselves and thank everybody here, please give yourselves a round of applause, unmute. This is concluding our 6 Feet of Separation showcase. Thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful afternoon. Please unmute and say goodbye and give us a round of applause all together.
Thank you. Thank you guys, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. Oh, it won't let you unmute. Well, I am unmuting for you in my mind. So thank you. You guys all have a wonderful, fantastic day. That does make sense. We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much.